In January 2019, a company that rented desks was worth $47 billion. More than Ford, more than American Airlines, more than Marriott, Hilton, and Hyatt combined. 8 months later, that valuation crashed to $8 billion. The IPO was canceled. The CEO was forced out. And 4 years after that, the company filed for bankruptcy with $18.6 billion in liabilities. But here is the twist that makes this story worth telling. The man who built it, the man who many say destroyed it, walked away with $1.7 billion. And then convinced another investor to give him $350 million more to do it all over again. This is the story of WeWork. And there is a financial lesson buried inside this disaster that could save you a fortune. In 2010, Adam Neumann was a 30-year-old Israeli immigrant living in New York City. He had already failed at 2 businesses: collapsible women's shoes with removable heels, baby clothes with built-in knee pads. Neither worked. But Neumann noticed something after the 2008 financial crisis. Manhattan was full of empty office buildings. Landlords were desperate. And a growing generation of freelancers and small startups wanted somewhere better than their kitchen table to work but could not afford a traditional office lease. So Neumann and his co-founder Miguel McKelvey leased a single floor in Soho, divided it into sections, added some nice furniture and a coffee machine, and charged people month to month to sit there. That was the entire business model. And it worked. The space filled within weeks. Within 7 years, WeWork had raised hundreds of millions and was valued at $10 billion. Then, in 2017, Adam Neumann met a man who would change everything. Masayoshi Son was the CEO of SoftBank, a Japanese investment giant that had just raised the Vision Fund, a $100 billion pool of money, the single largest investment fund in history. Most of that money came from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. Son visited WeWork's headquarters. The meeting lasted 12 minutes. On the way back to his car, Son told Neumann he was not thinking big enough. SoftBank invested $4.4 billion. Overnight, WeWork's valuation jumped to $20 billion, and Adam Neumann, the man who had been renting desks, was suddenly running one of the most valuable private companies in America. $20 billion, and not a single penny of profit. But nobody seemed to care. Not yet. With billions in the bank, Neumann spent like there was no tomorrow. He bought a $60 million Gulfstream private jet. Crew members later reported that marijuana smoke filled the cabin so heavily that the pilots had difficulty breathing. He created a company that trademarked the word "we." Then he sold that trademark back to WeWork, his own company, for $5.9 million. He was literally selling a single word to himself. He bought properties in Manhattan, then leased those same properties back to WeWork. He was paying himself rent with investor money. His wife Rebecca, who had listed herself as a co-founder despite joining years after launch, became the company's chief brand and impact officer. She once told a staff member that her superpower was her deep empathy for people. She then used company money to open WeGrow, a private elementary school inside WeWork where tuition cost $42,000 a year. The company also spent $14 million of WeWork cash on a wave pool company Neumann personally liked. Not because it made business sense, because Adam thought it was cool. By January 2019, SoftBank had invested more than $10 billion. The valuation hit $47 billion. WeWork was the most valuable startup in America. Now here is something that should have made every investor pause. There was already a company doing exactly what WeWork did. It was called IWG, formerly known as Regus. IWG had more locations than WeWork, more square footage, more countries, more members. And unlike WeWork, IWG was actually profitable. It had been profitable for years. IWG's market value, $3.7 billion. WeWork's valuation, $47 billion. Nearly 13 times higher than a larger, more profitable competitor doing the exact same thing. If that does not sound like a warning sign, nothing does. There was just one problem, and it was enormous. A profitable competitor valued 13 times lower. That one fact should have saved investors billions. Remember it. We will come back to it. On August 14, 2019, WeWork filed its S-1, the financial document every company must publish before going public. This is the moment the world sees your real numbers, and WeWork's numbers were devastating. In 2018, WeWork earned $1.8 billion in revenue, but it spent $1.9 billion. For every dollar it brought in, it spent more than $1 to get it. But that was only the beginning. The S1 also revealed that Neumann held shares with 20 times the voting power of regular shareholders. He could overrule the entire board on any decision. His wife was named to a special succession committee that would help choose the next CEO if Neumann could not serve. Conflict of interest disclosures filled page after page. Wall Street read this document and recoiled. Investment banks that had promised they could take WeWork public at $60 to $100 billion went quiet. Then they started lowering estimates. 50 billion, 40, 30, 20. Then the Wall Street Journal dropped a bomb. Journalist Elliot Brown published a deep investigation into Neumann's behavior. The marijuana, the erratic management, the extent of the self-dealing, the culture built entirely around one man's personality rather than the economics of the business. Within days, the narrative flipped completely. WeWork was not a technology company that would change the world. It was a real estate company with terrible economics run by a man treating investor money as his personal bank account. By September, the targeted IPO valuation had collapsed from $47 billion to below $15 billion. On September 24, 2019, under intense pressure from SoftBank and the board, Adam Neumann resigned as CEO. The IPO was pulled entirely. Now here is the part that should make your blood boil. When Neumann was forced out, SoftBank did not just let him leave, they paid him. The exit package totaled approximately $1.7 billion. This included $970 million for his shares, a $185 million consulting fee, a $500 million credit line to repay his personal loans from JP Morgan, plus an ongoing advisory role. Meanwhile, WeWork laid off thousands of employees. 4,000 people lost their jobs in a single week. Many of those employees had accepted lower salaries in exchange for stock options, options that Neumann had told them would make them wealthy. Those options were now virtually worthless. They gave up real money for a promise that one man's reckless spending had destroyed. Some of those employees could not even afford their severance. WeWork literally did not have enough cash to pay people for firing them. Think about that. A company that had raised more than $12 billion could not afford to let its own employees go. But it could afford a $60 million jet and a $5.9 million trademark for the word we. $1.7 billion to walk away. 4,000 employees with nothing. And the financial mistake that made all of this possible? Most people still do not understand it. Stay with me. After Neumann left, WeWork tried to survive. SoftBank poured in more money. The company cut costs and attempted to restructure. In 2021, WeWork went public through a SPAC merger at $9 billion, a fraction of its peak. But the bleeding continued. The pandemic had destroyed demand for office space. Remote work had made WeWork's entire model questionable. The stock that once represented a $47 billion company fell to 12 cents per share, a 99% drop. If you had invested $10,000 in WeWork at its peak, your investment was now worth $10, not $10,000. On November 6, 2023, WeWork filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy with $18.6 billion in liabilities against $15 billion in assets. After months of negotiations, WeWork renegotiated over 190 leases, exited more than 170 unprofitable locations, and eliminated over $4 billion in debt. The company emerged from bankruptcy in June 2024, now privately owned by real estate software company Yardi Systems. And Adam Neumann? He tried to buy WeWork back. He offered $650 million. The bankruptcy judge rejected his bid. So Neumann moved on to his next venture, Flow, a residential real estate company. Andreessen Horowitz gave him $350 million for it, the largest individual check they had ever written. Before a single building had opened, the man who arguably destroyed WeWork convinced one of Silicon Valley's top investors that he deserved another shot. Some people fail up. Adam Neumann built a career on it. So what does this $47 billion disaster actually teach us? One principle, one idea that, if you internalize it, could change how you evaluate every business, every investment, and even your own finances. Revenue is not profit. WeWork earned $1.8 billion in 2018. That sounds like a successful company. It sounds impressive, but it cost more than $1.8 billion to generate that revenue. Every dollar of income cost more than $1 to produce. This is the oldest trick in business. You can make any company look like it is growing if you are willing to lose money on every transaction. I can sell $10 bills for $5 and my revenue will be extraordinary, my growth will be off the charts. But I will go bankrupt, it is only a matter of when. SoftBank's Masayoshi Son looked at WeWork's revenue growth and saw the future of work. What he should have seen was a company that was buying its own revenue with investor cash. You might think this only applies to billion-dollar startups. It does not. Think about the friend who quit their job to start a business and talks about how much revenue they are generating, but never mentions profit. Think about the social media guru showing income screenshots but never discussing expenses. Think about the real estate investor talking about rental income while quietly ignoring the mortgage, maintenance, insurance, vacancy, and management fees that consume 90% of it. Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. Cash flow is reality. Before you invest in anything, a stock, a rental property, a business, a side hustle, ask one question. After all expenses, does this thing generate more money than it consumes? If the answer is no, or if nobody can clearly answer you, then you are looking at the next WeWork. It is only a matter of scale. WeWork raised more than $12 billion from investors who believed they were backing the future of work. What they were actually backing was the most expensive desk rental service in history, run by a man who used their money for private jets, wave pools, and buying trademarks from himself. $47 billion. Gone. Because nobody looked past the revenue number. And the man responsible? He is worth over $1 billion and is building another company with another investor's $350 million. Do not make the same mistake. Whether it is a stock, a startup pitch, or your own side business, always look past the top line. The money going in means nothing if more money is flowing out. That is the lesson WeWork spent $47 billion learning. You just got it for free. If you found value in this, subscribe to Billion to Bust. We break down the biggest financial disasters in history and extract the one lesson that could save you real money. I will see you in the next one.